telling you right now. Toy Story 5,
Count
eat your heart out.
money.
Oh
Spider-Verse,
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Miles Morales. Listen, I hate to do Afro-Latino on Afro-Latino crime, but I'm sorry, Miles. You had it too good for too long. All right? I'm coming in your house and I'm putting my Timbs on your couch, all right? And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, so who's going first then?
Oh, all right. I guess all right. We are cutting edge animation. I am Chris Carter, COO.
I'm Andre Inko, VP.
I was a little bit too zealous, but my name is Queen. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer.
My bad. All right, the Italian host, CFO.
And I'm Z Cherami, the CEO.
What's my experience been in the creative field? I mean, it's been hectic. I feel like from day one, we've been working on Captain Zero as a whole for almost 10 years now. But especially specifically for Into the Abyss Part 2, there's been a lot of ups and downs. Production has been insane, trying to keep everything afloat and kind of managing everything on this level because we're kind of leveling up, getting here from where we were even last year. So my experience has been hectic. I feel like that's the easiest answer, but in a fun way because I like the chaos.
I get I love the destruction, actually.
I'm not gonna lie, I like it. It's fun. It's exciting. Exciting, maybe a better word.
I mean, I'll follow that up. So I have a background in animation. I've been animating since I was about 12 years old. That's when I started my YouTube channel, which back then was Spidey 505. It is now, moved over to everything cutting edge animation. I stopped actively animating, like making my own animations when I turned 17, and I decided that I wanted to go to film school. Film school is where I met Andre. And like Andre had mentioned earlier, we've been working on Captain Zero as a project since 2015. So going on 10 years now. My experience in animation, I mean, it's been a whirlwind, definitely. I mean, it's always been something that I've loved. Again, I've been doing it since I was 12 years old. So it's always something that I've had a very, very deep passion for. But, also likewise to Andre's point, working on Into the Abyss Part 2, this has been the largest scale project we've ever done. Before this time, we did like little smaller projects here and there, things that were independently animated by just one person, or that really only took like me as an artist or storyboard person coming in and doing all the editing. But for this project, we had, God, between everyone that was like hired and fired, probably like 20, like a little over 20 as far as active members that saw it all the way through to the end, like 16, 15.
Oh, okay. All right. So, honestly, it's been a ride, a roller coaster. I don't know if I knew exactly what I was getting into when I DMZ. Like, hey, you thought about a part 2? It sounded great at the time.
This way.
It sounded great. Like this. I mean, how long could it take? How much money could it take?
How hard could it be?
38,000. 38,000. We got a short. No, it's more like quadruple that number.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild ride. I say it goes from we got no funding to we're premiering a Tribeca. Those are two totally different feelings and emotions that you're going through. And I think it just showed us as a team that we can accomplish anything. Like there's no roadblock, no obstacle that's going to be too great for us. And I think that this experience was life changing for me.
Yeah, I guess to piggyback off that, 100%. It's been just like electric ride from the get go. I feel like to the same point to Chris, DMZ, and then next to it's just all lightning, all gas, no brakes. So I love the experience. Nothing like I've been in before. I mean, prior being into like 9 to 5 spaces, that kind of like real estate, all that boring market. This is the opposite of that. Totally, it's very creative, very electric, a lot of passionate people, and like I said, the people I've met along the ride so far have been amazing. Like the talent is the experiences we've got to share, the journeys we got to hear. It's just I think rewarding in a way like I never thought I could experience. I don't think anything could pay this back. Like how this feels, like seeing the people who are in love with the project.
Now, I personally, myself, too, love a little bit of chaos, but control
Nice.
roller coaster. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like, okay,
Mm.
top like, we run away to Tribeca. Oh my god, this is so fun. And then it's like, okay, now we gotta like plan this tour. Okay, but now
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's like, okay, we gotta plan something else. Like it's just it's honestly like it's a good time for me. I have a traditional like fine art background. Like I'm a drawing professor by day, studying to be an art therapist also by day. And also I work for a nonprofit. So I'm used to like, curating events and like doing a lot of networking. So I feel like it's just it's fun to be able to like implement those skills towards this project. And then also too, because the project is about, mental health and how Xerxes is, like suffering with his depression demon. And I'm currently studying psychoanalysis. Like I'm trying to like, lend my, if Dr. Naomi, if I were to be a psychoanalyst for Xerxes, like what would I say in this session? Like try to lend like those thoughts and opinions, like during like anytime we're spitballing more ideas of how we can zhuzh up the story or like how we can expound upon it here, or how we can market it over there, or like different, things that we can collaborate on and like expound upon. So I feel like my marketing brain's always just it's just going. Like now it's just like in overdrive all the time. Like I just be waking up like, what sounds like a good idea? Roller skates. That would be like who like what are we talking about? But that's
Yes.
see someone out there. It's a market for everything, right? So
Captain Zero is an animated project about Xerxes Hughes, a Haitian American black teenage superhero who struggles with both depression and anxiety. And the entire project is actually framed through his therapy sessions as he tries to uncover the cause of his recent blackouts and his depressive fueled episodes that are caused by a depression demon that's visible to only him. And the depression demon is actually voiced by the amazing Keith David. But that's what Captain Zero is about. The inspirations for Captain Zero. Man, so I mean, I grew up watching a lot of television, lots and lots of anime. So like I'm a 90s kid, early 2000s. So I grew up on, Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Spider-Man the animated series, X-Men the animated series, Batman the animated series, Static Shock, Justice League. I think you can definitely see the Spider-Man, Static Shock, and like 90s anime like Dragon Ball Z references in the absolute most. But those I would say are all of like the biggest references for Captain Zero.
oh, okay.
Mm.
I got on the project because Z recruited me to be on the project. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me just look into this to see like what's he. And I was like, I'm really sure because like yeah, like I'm a fine artist, but like I'm a very like, oh, I only like I paint, at the sunrise at at this specific angle, like facing east. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, are you sure? Like I don't really know like if I can lend what you need for this project. And they're like, yes, you can. I was like, okay. And so like just how enthusiastic they were about the project and how passionate they are about the project and just like looking into how long they've been working on the project, how they've just been like taking a lot of intentional steps to be like have curate very, very well put together character development and just like a phenomenal storyline. And then on top of that, I didn't even know who was on the cast at first. I was just like, this project sounds pretty cool. Like what? Like I'm in art therapy. Like I've been studying psychology for like 6 years. This sounds awesome. And then I'm just like, you said who's on the project? Oh, sign me up.
Andre
Um,
almost didn't. That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
crazy part.
So I've been on the project since college. That's where I met Z, and Z brought me onto the project. Through various circumstances, Z ended up in my film class. It was actually like a screenwriting class. The particular month that Z joined, and instantly once Z joined, I thought I was hot shit. So you see Z walk into the room, and now we got a little problem. Only one of us can be the best writer in the room. You feel me? Only one of us can be the best writer in the room. So I gotta size the see what they got ready. That's cute, the little script you got, you feel me? That's cool. Um, but I'm ready for the smoke. And I've talked to Z about this as well, that we were both kinda, you know, we were both peeping each other
Oh,
like, okay,
really, really said it in the beginning.
how am I gonna take them down? Yeah, I'm gonna take them down. Um, but shout out Z having the foresight to be like, hey, why fight and go against each other our whole careers and not just team up? We like started talking on this one set. Z pitched the idea of Captain Zero. And I remember at the time, keep in mind this is film school Andre, a very snobby. So they pitched me the idea and I was like, that's ass. That's just nothing like The Sopranos. I want us to win an Emmy. That was
Like
my shit.
prestige television. That's yeah, that's the vantage point Andre was coming at it. I think initially the real goal was really more kind of like Spider-Man the animated series Static Shock, and Andre was like, no, like I want to go full blown drama. Like I wanted to feel like yeah, like how Breaking Bad feels, how The Sopranos feel, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
So yeah, we chopped it up a little bit, and then during that little like first introduction, we became close friends. It like instantly became in college that you wouldn't find Z without me. But yeah, since then, I've been a part of the project. I love writing, love being Z's writing partner. I feel like we blend together well, and that's why I'm still here. You feel me?
That's real.
Uh, so how I got involved. So I was following Cap Zero for a while on Twitter, and for the longest time, I was like waiting for like a graphic novel to drop. I just saw this dope artwork, and I was a fan of the artwork and the characters, and I didn't even know it was gonna be an animated series until one day he's like, "You should check this part one out," and I was like, "Part one of what? Like, what is this?" And I check it out, and I'm like, immediately, I was like, "This is it." Like I've been trying to figure out a way to incorporate mental health in different projects and things like that. And this was like the perfect way. My dad suffered from mental illness, so that's something I've dealt with past like 20 years with him, and going through my own mental health journey over the past few years. And I saw it, I was like, okay, I got an idea. And I reached out to Z, hey, would you think about doing a part two? And I can help fund, thinking it was gonna cost like, 36,
Oh,
38,000, something like that.
right.
Uh, you know, and then and they said, oh, let me get back to you. They got back and said, I only do this if Keith David is available. And I'm like, what do you mean? If Keith Davis is available. Like Keith is attached? Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't even know what I stepped in at this point. I'm just like, okay, this is the beginning. And then it was also going through the strikes, the writer strike, SAG strike. And so we had to initially get approval from them to actually even start. And
Agreement,
got through
yeah.
that. And I was like, once we got through that, I was like, well, this is meant to be. Like, if you can get past paperwork, it is meant to be. And just along every step of the way, I just felt like this team and the project itself was something special, something that was necessary and needed as well. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, crazy. It's very, very similar. I think I was how I got attached to the project. I was kind of just like midnight scrolling, always looking at different options in terms of investing. I was like crazy into like real estate and crypto. The world's changing, trying to figure out the next best thing. So I was just looking at actually just scrolling through Kickstarter, and I just stumbled across this very like passionate person breaking down this like whole world of this whole superhero journey told from this mental health perspective, and I'm just like, what is this? How have I not known about it? I hear Keith David voice, I'm stunned and I'm shocked, and I'm just like, all right, boom, how do I get a part of this? What I see, they're trying to raise more money actually, so what can I do? So how I got a part of the project was I on Z's Instagram, reached out, and I was like, "Hey, you know, I saw what you did on Kickstarter. I'd love to be a part. You guys have like some tiers and investments is like 500, but let's get to the nitty gritty. What do you really need to kind of push this thing over the edge?" And we had a conversation. And when I say the conversation was amazing, I've never some people talk, and I've talked to a bunch of people, you know, in terms of like just investors and people who have dreams, people who have visions, but you can just hear it. You can almost feel it through the screen when someone's explaining and expressing their journey to you and what they want the impact to be. And with my mental health journey going through and seeing that perspective of just like, you know, a young black man, young black hero, I was like, okay, let me see how I can support this for the future generation. So my little brother, my anybody looks like me, my community can have this beacon that's told from our perspective to kind of push my community forward. So literally I've been all in since then, just like and that's been my motivating factor right there. So I think when Z told me like if someone could come up and say like, hey, this project saved me in ways that I when I was in a dark space, that to me just and then seeing that at these conventions, people coming up to that table and just
Oh,
not just the
oh,
transactions, people expressing that, hey, I've been following for 10 years. This meant so much to me. And that's just the people who've been following. Not to say that's a small thing, but people we get touched so far. So if we can touch those people and more, those supporters and those people in this journey, I think that's life well lived for me. Not just monetarily, but something to do something that's also attached to that impact. So I think that's what kind of drives me every day and draws me to the project.
so the main changes from part two to part one is really just the expansion of the story. So in part one, because of budget and timing, the only voices that you hear are mine and Angelica Ross, who does the voice of Dr. Niobe. You have a quick glimpse of a couple of characters like Oblivion, I believe Kilowatt. You also see one of the villains in the show.
She also voices Oblivion.
Yes. You also see Alyssa Day. You see the Depression Demon, but you never hear any of them. Just kind of quick glimpses of them and kind of just to give you a general overview of Xerxes' world as a whole. But in part two, because the runtime is a lot longer, part one on YouTube is only 5 minutes long. The director's cut is like 8 minutes long. But part two is 15 minutes long. So we really, really got to delve a lot more into Xerxes' world, into Xerxes' character, a lot more into Dr. Niobe. So there are more scenes with her and Xerxes back and forth in therapy. We get full-on scenes with Oblivion where she's talking, interacting, full-on scenes with Butterfly Girl where you really get to see her showcase her skills and ability. You get to see one of the local cops that's in the show. That's kind of like a problem that always shows up for Butterfly Girl and Captain Zero. And then, of course, you get to hear the amazing Keith David do the voice of the Depression Demon in the short film. So really, just an expansion if you're talking story-wise. And then production-wise, I mean, obviously you can tell if you look at part one compared to part two, yeah, the budget is like, it's out of here. And it looks like it, which is really, really great. Part one was made with one animator. Part two was made with, again, like in total, like over 20. I want to give a quick shout out to both Justin, Noah, and Renee and Hajime for being some of our key animators that helped us out with really, really crafting the beautiful final product that you see. And then again, all of the amazing animators and colorists that work in the project. Far too many to name if I were trying to go through the whole Rolodex. But shout out to all of them. They really, really helped craft an amazing, wonderful piece of work. But yeah, production wise, scale, that was the thing that was really the biggest difference from part one to part two. There were so many more moving parts, so many more moving, pieces that we had to come together and orchestrate. But yeah. Yeah, part one's budget is $10,000. Part two's budget is $200,000. I don't say that to flex. Very, very important. That's not a flex. Part two, again, ended us costing that much because of all of the shit that we went through during the production. Again, lots of hirings, lots of firings, lots of reworking. At one point, production had to be halted and stopped for 2 months. And then we had to come back on. We ended up losing animators due to that hiatus. There were so many things that happened all throughout production that caused our initial budget to skyrocket. When we did the first Kickstarter campaign for this project, we raised $36,000. We thought that that's all we were going to need. And then we were about like 8 months into the project and we ran out of money. We were like, yikes. We're going to need more money to make sure that we can, keep this thing going. Another thing that we also do is we pay competitively, and we pay, honestly, far better than even most major studios. I do take pride in being able to say, one, everyone that we worked with was fairly compensated for their work, and two, it looks like it's expensive. So that's really, really good for our investors and our future buyers and the people that want both the full length version of the short film and the feature. Like, look at what we were able to accomplish with individual contractors, not working with any big major studio, but just a collection of people that came together under one vision and one idea.
One band, one sound.
I was about to say it. You beat me.
I think that's actually a really good point. I think one of the first meetings we had was like, how do we eliminate that, right? How do we make it so that Z isn't trying to run around and put out extra fires and they can just focus on solely the project itself? So I think when we had those meetings, we made sure that we took the initial stress as much as possible off of Z so they can focus on just the production and we could more focus on the operational stuff. So I think to that point is what I saw. Like, I think the Discord chat was alive, man. Like, I just chiming in, seeing the advancements, like watching it grow, like just being able like to be a fly on the wall through that process was amazing, like surreal, right? I mean, I think you imagine a production studio looking like one way, kind of ran like a crazy ship, but this was what was a lot of like cohesion, a lot of like collaboration, a lot of different people chiming in. So it was like the total opposite of an experience of what I thought it would be like. It was a lot more of like camaraderie and community building from my perspective. So it was amazing, honestly.
Communication,
Yeah.
comprehension is our friend, and it's definitely like, oh yeah, we're a family, but it's not like in like the lying, deceptive, non-profit corporate way. It's like, no, I genuinely like fuck with these people the long way. Like, I really appreciate them and everything that they bring to the team, and it's real. Like Beyonce and Zodiac, like that's real. Like, everyone has like their special set of skills, and we all put them together. It's like, all right, cool, like I can handle this, who can handle this, who's able to do that, okay, let's check in. Like, just like the consistent like check-ins, and the communication is also just like really helpful. And I've been on a project for like a little over a year now, and it's definitely also put into perspective for me like why the credits is so long. Like, every time I would like watch like Powerpuff Girls or like Dexter's Lab or whatever, I'm like, who are all these people? Like, did you like all do something? And then I'm just like, oh, they all was doing something. Like, every last one of them had a very significant role.
That is the biggest change, I think, from part one to part two, is really like this team that we've curated for part two. Because part one and everything prior to part one, it's been me and Z with a couple people added on, a couple people left, a couple people came back. It was like, kind of in and out while we're trying to figure shit out, essentially. But once we got to part two, once we got Chris, Queen, Italian, once the e-board was together and we did start having those meetings on like how can we start to get tasks off of these shoulders so that we can run this as a cohesive ship, as a team. That's like the biggest thing I think we've learned in this journey with the production of this one. So this how you mentioned the Discord chat, that was huge to communicate. We also have an e-board chat where we communicate in there. And everything we do now is genuinely like a project that we're like, okay, how can we delegate these tasks? What can everyone do? And that has been the biggest change between not even just part one, but everything we were doing before versus this project right now. And I think it shows. I think it reflects.
Honestly, I just agree to what everyone just said. All of it times 10. It really feels like the family. It's like what they claim to be, Fast and Furious. We can do anything because we're a family. That's like what we live in. That's legit. How it feels.
I mean, yeah, we at this point, it's like we've been through so much with each other. like there's been so many moments where it's like, oh man, like like just again, just interpersonally looking out for one another, caring for each other as people, human beings. Like something I've always stated from the beginning is like Cutting Edge Animation is a people first company. More than just your role of CMO or CFO or COO or vice president. It's like you're a person, you're a human being first and foremost. So everything with the business, once we have outlined and dedicated, we can get all of that stuff sorted out. But first and foremost, I need to know that you're doing good as a person. What do you need as a human being to make sure that you're living your best experience? Like, I genuinely care about who you are as a person. And I feel like because my strategy has always been, well, I care about who you are as a person, well, then I always invariably get the best work out of you as whatever your role is, because then you're showing up as the best version of yourself. Well, two things for me. One, first and foremost, I want you to be entertained. I want you to watch a piece of media that you feel engaged with, something that you feel like gives you a feeling like you felt when you were a kid. Again, like we modeled this short film to quite literally look like you're looking at a VHS tape of some 90s anime you've never seen before. So we were very, very intentional on the feeling we were trying to get across. So one, first and foremost, I want people to just enjoy what it is that they're watching, to feel invested in this character, in these worlds, in these stories, and to be curious about where it goes after the screen cuts to black. And the second thing is, I want more people, black men in particular, to become more curious about their mental health and to, again, have a more vested interest in wanting to not just stew in their traumas and the things that they're holding back, but to get to a place where they can be vulnerable, where they can be honest, where they can break down some of those walls of what a strong man is supposed to be, and can instead see that there is value in vulnerability, there's value in honesty, there is importance in being able to get help. So those are the two main things I hope people take away when they watch part two.
To piggyback off of that, I would also like to say, also just like me being a therapist, genuinely, I hope people will watch this and will know, like, hey, maybe I should stop lying to my therapist. Like, I'm really not even trying to say that, like, just to be funny, although it is funny, but like, genuinely, like, you're not going to be able to get to the root of your traumas if you are lying. And it's also very evident that Xerxes is lying, and Dr. Naomi's like, boy, please, like, I come on, bro, like, and
She's going along with the get along.
she's going exactly, and as a good therapist, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you are supposed to give your client the opportunity to come to their own conclusion, because again, like, as a therapist, you are their support person. Even if you don't agree, you still have to be there to support them in that moment for whatever it is they are seeking guidance from. So I hope that that is something that people will be able to, you know what, maybe I should like be honest the next time I go to therapy and like really tell them what's tea and what's going on. The other thing, again, to piggyback off of what Z was saying, like, I primarily am about to start working with like older black men, especially that are like in the recidivist state, like are going back into being, in regular general pop after being incarcerated. And I've noticed just being like in this field that older black folks, especially the men, they are not able to articulate their mental health struggles verbally, but they are able to have more success using art or writing or any other creative outlet to be able to like connect with the people around them and connect with themselves and be able to get to the root of it, of whatever it is that they're suffering from. So I hope that this will be another caveat for people to like open up to have these conversations, because sometimes you really are only able to have hard conversations through the lenses of art or nature or like familiar interpersonal connections.
Yeah, I kind of feel it's fairly similar where I hope people leave this short film with at least a little bit more of an understanding of their own mental health, how they can see it portrayed on the screen with our characters, and at least begin that mental health journey if they haven't begun it already. And at least seeing the way that we portray depression and anxiety and those moments of feeling lost and alone. And I hope people can kind of gravitate towards those images and make the idea of mental health a little bit more tangible for them and those feelings a little bit more tangible. Um, and secondly, I hope people are genuinely excited to see more. That is like the big thing. This has always been a project that we hope to expand on. And I just want people to know that there's more coming, and you know, Captain Zero's forever. You know, like we're gonna keep going until the wheels fall off. So I hope people know that there's so much more.
For me, I would say I want people to know that independent doesn't mean lesser, lower quality, or cheap. Especially when you're talking Black independent, I want them to see that this is a quality project, cutting edge, never cutting corners. I need them to understand that that's not what that means. You know, we're not a part of a major studio. That doesn't mean that we're going to give you a lesser product. So I want them to see the effort and the work that was put into this, and to want more. And we plan to get better, you know, because we've learned a lot along this journey. And secondly, that it's okay to not be okay. That everyone experiences anxiety. Everyone has these different, experiences dealing with their mental health, and it's okay to seek help. And I'm hoping that continues to be normalized, especially among Black men.
Yeah, you guys are killing. I mean, I can't say it enough. Just like mental health awareness for the community, especially Black men. I think my own personal connection was having my own like first panic attack, like just taking a bunch of like working out in football, right? And it's kind of was laughed off. Everyone's kind of like, oh, that just happens. I'm like, wait a minute, that I even blew it off, and not until I saw this project I was like, wait a minute, that's something that we might need to talk about, right? That's not something that we should be blowing past. Like Black men shouldn't be going through panic attacks, or anybody should be going through panic attacks and being like, oh, that's just what happens when when you just work too hard. It's like, nah, man, that's not normal. So hopefully this can spark a conversation, create dialogue, make that ride home very enlightening for not only the parents but also the people that are involved in that car ride, to help the people push through those barriers and create a safer space for people to kind of an easier bridge into the entertainment as well as awareness space. So I think that's what I definitely would love to see, right? People tie something that's not so much, booms, explosions are amazing, of course they're high quality, they're great, but something to have that lifelong message, that support, that's something that our community needs, is it's amazing.
2027, Captain Zero in the movie. I'm telling you right now. Toy Story 5, eat your heart out.
Oh,
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Miles Morales, listen, I hate to do Afro-Latino on Afro-Latino crime, but I'm sorry, Miles, you had it too good for too long. All right? I'm coming in your house and I'm putting my Timbs on your couch, all right? And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Captain Zero forever. Captain Zero to infinity.
That part.
Right here, from the womb to the tomb. You know what it is.
Seacrest out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm screaming.
Be easy. Keep it loopy.
Keep it loopy.
It's crazy.
Keep it loopy. Hey, love, peace, and chicken grease.
Captain Zero from the womb to the tomb. Cutting edge animation. We're coming for everything, including your favorite.